So we're going to start with a 5-minute warm-up, and we'll start with some leg swings. So we're just going to stabilize on one leg, keep a little bit of bend in that leg, and we're just going to start swinging the other leg backwards and forwards. And we're trying to keep the torso, the upper body, fairly stable here. So we're trying not to swing forwards and back. I'll just show you from the side as well. Oh, if I can balance. So we're trying to keep the upper body nice and strong, engaging through the core to keep that stability. Just forwards and back a few times, getting some movement into the hips. And then we're going to go on the other side. So do a few on that side as well. You can have your arms out a little bit for balance if you need to. And remembering to breathe as well, not holding our breath when we're doing this. Okay, and then we're going to take the knee up and then step back. Can hear the bin man. A few more, and then we'll move to the other side. So bringing the other knee up and then stretching out behind. Again, we're stabilizing through the core when we're doing this. It does require quite a bit of balance. It's quite challenging, first thing. One more, and then take it back. So then we're going to do some hip openers. So we're just going to imagine we're stepping over a low gate. So we're stepping over behind and then stepping back forward. So we'll do a few of those. Nice and controlled. Getting some blood flow into the hips, into the hip joint, and starting to warm up the body. And then on the other side, we'll do a few. And one more. Okay, and then we're just going to try and touch the toes in front. So just bringing alternate hand to alternate leg. So with myself, you might be similar. My hamstrings are quite tight, so it means I can't actually reach my toes. So it's better then to be concerned about this area and whether we're keeping this nice and neutral, because what I want you to do is keep this neutral. We're not bending and curving through the spine. So if you have to bend your leg a little bit to do this exercise, then that's good. We don't want to be putting pressure on the lower back by kind of trying to reach too far. We're just getting movement in. It's not a kind of challenge to see who can go the furthest. Everyone's body's different, and you might not be able to touch your toes out the front. A few more. Okay, and then we're going to warm up the upper body a little bit before doing a bit of a high impact plyometric move. So we're just going to take the arms as if we're swimming. So imagine you're doing some front crawl, taking the arms overhead. So you might want to lean forward a little bit and just bring some movement into the shoulders. So when we're doing this, we're thinking about as if we were swimming. We're keeping a nice high elbow here. We can always imagine we're swimming if we can't get to the pool. Try and pretend. Okay, and then we'll do both arms together. So if you were doing butterfly stroke, taking a nice wide movement and engaging all through the shoulders and the lats. And then we're going to just swing the arms back, standing upright, just to loosen off there. And then we'll just swing from side to side as well, through the midsection, getting some twisting movement there. And then we're going to do a little high impact exercise. Now there's a couple of variations here. Some of you may have done it before, but you might not have. We're going to do the cross hop. So we're moving forwards, back, side, side, okay? So it's quite high impact. You can do it with both feet to start off with. And then if you want to, if you feel like a challenge, you can try on one leg for a few of them. Okay, so we're going to do, we'll start with the 2 feet, and then we'll move into single legs. So forwards, back, side, side, forwards, back. Okay, and then we're going to go the other way. So we're going from the forwards to back, and then we're going to the other side first. Side, back, side, side. And then we're gonna, if you want, you can move into a single leg, but you can continue with the double legs if you want to. Just take a little breather before we move into that. So this exercise is really good for putting like impact into the joints. So you're having to stabilize through those joints. So we'll try on one leg. If you can't do it, go back to the single leg, to the double legs. Side, side, you might need to slow it down a bit. Forwards, back, side, side. Okay, and then we'll do the other side. You should be nice and warm by now. So forwards, back, side, forwards, back, side. One side might feel easier as well. And we'll just stop there and give the legs a little shake out. Okay, so the first exercise we're going to do when I've got my breath back is the round the clock lunge. So I have brought weights. If you've got weights and you want to use them, you can do for this exercise. And I'll show you how to do it with both options. If you've got a kettlebell or a single weight, you can hold it here into your chest. And we're going to be lunging forwards to the side, out and behind. So we're doing our round the clock lunge, but I'll show you, we'll start it in a minute. If you've got dumbbells, you can have them down by your side and exactly the same. Okay, so it's your choice. Or obviously, if you've got no weights, then you can do it without weights. And we're going to do 40 seconds. So I'm just going to grab my weight. And we're going forwards. And then to 2 o'clock. Then out to the side to 3. And then we just go back behind us. Back behind us with the other leg. Out to around 9 o'clock. 11 o'clock. And then back to the center, and then we're going to go back around the other way. So back to 11, to 9, back behind us, swap legs at the back, out to 3 o'clock, up to 2, and up to 1. So we're going to go back around the other way. We've got just enough time to go back round this time. Back behind, swap legs, out to 9, 11, and then back up to the top again. Okay, well done. So the next exercise, we're going to get down on the floor. Okay, so some of you, if your wrists are a little stiff, might find this quite challenging. So sometimes people find this quite hard to point their hands forward. So if you need to have breaks in this exercise, then take a break. But what we're going to do is we're going to push up onto the hands, and we're going to lift alternate legs. So again, this is a really good core exercise. We're focusing on a straight line all the way through the body. If you do need to come down, you can do. The other thing you could do is rest on your elbows if your hands are giving you a lot of trouble here. So we'll do 40 seconds, and we're going to start. So whichever position you want to, making sure you've got that straight line through the spine, remembering to breathe. And again, if you want to come down, you feel like your body's not able to hold that tension, then you might be better having a break and then coming back to it. I can't see how many we've done because my hand's behind me. Keep it going. And release. Okay, so the next exercise we're doing is a warrior crunch. So we're standing up again. And you can do this one with a weight. So if you've got a weight, you can grab your weight. And again, you're either holding it in this position, or if you've got dumbbells, you're going to have them down by your side. So we're going to go into a squat position like this, the knees kind of above the ankles, and we're going to be holding in this position and then just going from side to side. So I'll show you without the weight so you can see the aim of the exercise. Our hands are on our hips, and we're just going down to alternate sides and holding that nice squat position and trying to keep the torso nice and engaged. Okay, so we're going to do that for 40. If you want to wait, then you just hold your weight and move from side to side. So again, this is working all of the core area and also the legs as well, because we're holding that position, trying to keep neutral through the spine so we're not curving or curling inwards or arching back. Controlling the movement. And you might be feeling it in your legs after a little while. We've got a few more. And last one. And then we'll release. So the next exercise, we're coming down onto the floor. You won't need a weight for this one. And we're going into a press-up position. So either modified press-up or full press-up. And we're going to do a press-up and then take the left foot behind and reach the left arm over. So we're getting a nice stretch all through the front of the body and also stabilizing through this shoulder. So then we're going to do the other side as well. So this is a press up to a crab position. So we'll make a start. So we're going to do press up and then taking the arm overhead, pushing the hips up towards the sky and stabilizing through that shoulder. So when you go onto that shoulder, make sure you're reaching up so you don't sink down through that shoulder. You keep some nice tension in there so that we're keeping the muscles around that joint nice and stable. We've got 10 seconds left, so we're only doing a few more repetitions. And one more to the other side to even it up. Reaching back and then coming back to center. Okay, and then we're going to stand up and do a plyometric exercise. I just need to move my weights out of the way because we're going to be jumping again. So we're going to be doing ice skaters, which is when we jump from side to side. Again, another exercise that's really good for stabilizing through the knee joint and giving us a bit of a boost of energy as well. So what you're doing when you land, your other leg goes behind you, and we're using our arms as well so that you're leaning forward and driving with the arms. So we're going to do 40 seconds from side to side, stabilizing through that knee. I'm just going to turn to the front as well. Imagining we're doing a bit of ice skating or even skiing. It could be. And then for the last few seconds, just see how far you can go across. So we'll see if you can go a bit further if you've got space, obviously. And last one. Well done. Okay, so we're going down onto the floor again. And we're doing another core exercise. I'm just going to get my breath back first. So the next exercise is windscreen wiper legs. So we're working the core, and there's a couple of variations you can do here. So we can either have our legs fairly straight, mine aren't going to go straight, pressing the hands down into the floor, pressing the lower back into the floor, and then we're rolling the legs from side to side like this. If that is too much, you feel pain anywhere, you can bend your knees, and exactly the same. We're rolling from side to side, and we're doing 40 seconds. So just get into position and then start. And this is all about control. So try not to just let your legs kind of drop to the side. We're trying to control the movement. So actually slower on this exercise. It's going to be more challenging than if you are swinging. And the other thing is, if you're swinging from side to side, you're also putting a lot of pressure on other muscles that might not be so safe to do. So really controlled, and then bring your knees in. And we're going to come back up to standing for our round the clock lunge. So we're on our second circuit now. So we're coming up to standing forwards, out to the side, back behind, and then we swap legs. Out to the side, up to 11, up to the front, and then we go back around that same way. So we're changing the movement a little bit. Hopefully I didn't stand on my weights and fall over. And then back around the other way, so to 2, to 3. Nice and strong through the midsection as well. Okay, when we get back to the front, then we're going to stop. And we're going back down onto the floor for the leg pull up. That's what I'm calling it today anyway. So either on your wrists or your elbows in a reverse plank position. And we're lifting one foot off the floor and then another. So try and press through the hands and keep nice and strong through the shoulders as well. And that straight line through the body so the core is lifted. Nice and controlled. Remember, if you need to come down, then you can do. Have a little break and then come back to it. If you notice you're starting to dip, and then we're going to lower and come back up to standing for our warrior crunch. Okay, so you can either be hands on hips or you can take your weight. And we're taking a nice wide squat, keeping the pelvis tucked under a little bit, and then just crunching from side to side. So again, core exercise, but also working the legs. Also makes you feel like a warrior a little bit. It's getting very warm all of a sudden. Okay, we've got 10 seconds left. Nice and strong, controlled. And then we're coming back up to center, and then we're going to do our press up into a crab position. So remember again, nice and stable through those shoulders. You can use a modified press up. Stepping back, reaching, really enjoying the movement as well, because it does feel quite nice, this movement. We're over halfway through already. Okay, and release. And then we're coming back up to standing for our ice skaters. Just going to get ready. And make sure you got your space. So we're skating from side to side. Okay, see if you can get height this time. So we'll try and jump up as if we're jumping over something. A few more, and one to that side, and then we'll get down on the floor again. Okay, so last exercise in the second circuit is the windscreen wiper legs. So we can lie on our backs and either with knees bent or legs straight, we're gonna move the legs from side to side. So pressing those hands into the floor, keeping the lower back in contact and really controlling this movement. Keep your chin tucked in as well, just so that you're not arching through the spine. What can tend to happen is our head starts to go back, and then we're creating tension in the spine. So just focus on keeping that chin drawn in slightly. If you want to change to bent legs, you can do at any time. And then release down. We're going to rock up to stand, and then we'll do our go back to our round the clock lunge. So if you've got your weight, you can grab that. And this is the last circuit now, so forwards, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, back behind, and the other side. Keeping the torso nice and, I've forgotten what I'm doing because I started talking. Keeping the torso nice and neutral. So trying not to have too much movement in that upper body, keeping it nice and strong and stable. Out to the side, and we're just going to go all the way around this side before stopping and moving on to the next exercise. So back to the front, and then we're down on the floor for the leg pull up. So again, core exercise, going down either onto the elbows or the hands. And we're going to press up into that nice straight position. Make sure your hips are going towards the ceiling, and then we're just stabilizing through the shoulders. Keep breathing. Keep those hips up. And like I said, if you need to come down, have a little reset, you can do. Keep it going. And release. Okay, so we're standing up again for warrior crunch. So either with a weight or without, we're just getting into that nice low position. If you can go a little bit lower this time, see if you can. And then just from side to side. Thinking about taking your ear down towards the floor. But keeping your spine in alignment as well. I mean, we are bending a little bit, but the head shouldn't be moving too much in this exercise. The movement's coming from that core area. A few more left. And back to center. Awesome. So press up to crab is our next exercise. We're getting down on the mat. or the floor, whatever you're on at the moment, and pressing up, and then reaching all the way through. So that shoulder that's in your straight arm, make sure you're pushing through there so that we don't sink down and cause undue stress on that shoulder joint. We're using the muscles. Reaching back. And this is also really nice for your spine as well. Moving it in a different way to what you would do normally, possibly. Okay, and then back to the center. And we're up to our ice skater next. So this is our last ice skater. So again, from side to side, enjoying it. Stabilizing through the knee as you land. You might want to look sort of on the floor in front of you around 45 degrees because it's easier to balance then when you land on that knee, on that leg. Okay, last 10 seconds, we're going to go wide, so as far over as you can. And one more. Okay, awesome. And then we're getting back down on the floor for the last exercise, our windscreen wiper legs. Very out of breath. Pushing the lower back into the floor, pressing the hands and the elbows, keeping all that upper back in contact, taking the legs up overhead, and then nice and controlled, bringing the legs from side to side. Keeping that back in contact with the floor. And again, thinking about what is happening with your head. Can you tuck your chin in a little? And last one up to center. And then you can hug your knees in. And then just cross the ankles. If you want to, you can hold onto the feet. We're just going to rock up to sit. And then we'll take a few stretches here. So we'll start with our legs wide, if you can, as wide as you can. And then you might want a bit of bend in the knees. I definitely do. Because what you're aiming for is to keep your spine as neutral as possible. So we can push from behind to lead forward with the chest and the chin so that we're getting a bit of stretch in there. Now you might be a lot more flexible than I am, and you might be able to straighten your legs and lean forward in this position. But we're aiming for good form here. We're trying not to sort of sink and flop here, because otherwise your back is vulnerable in this position, especially if you're as inflexible as I am here. So we're trying to keep that chest, keep moving forwards, keep leading with the chin and the chest. See if you can go a little bit further. And if you do want to, you can just drop your head forward for the last few seconds, but you don't have to. You can stay here. If you're getting a stretch and you feel like you can't go any further, then that's ideal. Okay, and then we're going to just take one leg in. And then again, we're sitting up tall, reaching forward towards this straight leg. And some people will be able to reach their toes here. Some of you will be able to reach the thigh or the calf. Wherever you are is good. as long as you're feeling something. And this doesn't need to be painful. This is about releasing muscles and trying to relax into it. So again, use your breath, use your breathing to release into it a little bit. We'll take one more breath here. Okay, and then coming back to center and bringing the other leg in. And again, we're thinking about sitting up tall, so we're lifting through the crown of the head before we fold forwards a little bit. You might not even need to fold forwards to feel something. You might just, like I was in the last position, just push behind, lead with your chin in your chest. And you might find that each side is different as well. So breathing into that stretch will release. Using the breath to go, relaxing a little bit further. And we'll take one more nice deep breath in and really focus on releasing here as you breathe out. And it should feel good. Okay, and then bring both feet in. We'll take the feet together and take them quite a way away from you. And then you can take your hands underneath the feet. And then we're just going to, again, leading with the chin. So we're creating space in the spine here. We don't want to be crunching up through the spine. We're trying to create space and lengthen. So we're leading with the chin and folding forwards a little bit. And breathing into your upper back, you might feel that the breath as you breathe in, you might feel it's actually kind of releasing across that upper back. You might feel some tension there. So breathe into that tension and then hold, breathe out and release it. And you might be able to move further into this as well, like fold forward a little bit more every time you breathe out. This is one of my favorite releases to do. It just feels good for me. Something that I quite often like to practice. Okay, and then we're just going to stretch a little bit in the upper body. So we'll take one arm up overhead and then drop that hand down between your shoulder blades and take the other hand and we're just going to gently press that elbow down between the shoulder blades, making sure that your head isn't dropping forward. So we're trying to keep, again, neutral spine. Breathing in and out, nice and calm breathing. And then we'll do the same on the other side. So taking the other hand up, dropping the hand down between the shoulder blades, and then just gently pressing again with the other hand, pressing the elbow. Taking some nice deep breaths here. And then we'll take the arms out in front, just keeping a little bit of bend in the elbows. And engaging the shoulders slightly as we kind of drop the head down so that you can feel a release across the upper back. And just, you can kind of curve into this as well. And then we'll take the hands behind. I'm just going to show you from here. We're actually going to kneel here. And then take the hands behind and then just press the chest forward. And if you want to, you can drop your head back as long as there's no problems with your neck. And just release across the front of the body. Okay, gently roll the head up. Give your arms a little bit of a shake and shoulders a little bit of a shake. And well done. Thanks for joining me this morning and take care. Have a good day. I'll see you again soon.